Today, Thursday, January 27, 2022. A motorist involved in deadly hit and run along Washington Boulevard turns himself in to the police. More than 200 people being sought by police in connection with upsurge in crime. One of the defendants on trial in the One Don case was a member of the JDF up to August last year. More than 100 active cases of COVID-19 among workers and inmates at Jamaica's correctional facilities. The motorist who was involved in the deadly hit and run on Washington Boulevard in St. Andrew on Tuesday has turned himself into the police. The man, who was accompanied by his attorney Anthony Williams, went to the Halfway Tree police station at 2:15 this afternoon. Mr. Williams says his client is likely to be charged with causing death by dangerous driving and failing to report an incident within 24 hours. He says the motorist delayed reporting the incident as he had to seek medical attention.
He was actually shaken up and was fairly disoriented in time and space, and managed to get home. It is reported that he did not report the accident, but he was actually shaken up and had to seek medical attention for his emotional distress and imbalance. So he was in a fairly better condition today, and he was handed over to
Attorney Anthony Williams. It was reported that shortly before 7 o'clock Tuesday morning, the woman was struck by a grey Toyota Probox. She was pronounced dead at hospital. Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitz, has disclosed that more than 200 individuals are currently being sought by the police in connection with the upsurge in crime across the island. The police earlier today listed 90 people who are wanted. DCP Bailey says the individuals are being sought in connection with murders, shootings, wounding with intent, cases of rape and other serious offences. He told a media briefing that the arrest of these individuals would significantly curtail the crime figures.
And again, I appeal to the public for your support to call the numbers that will be listed, and we'll make available the information to the various media houses. It will be reflected on the JCF platform, and I am asking the support of every member. We believe that if we take these individuals, who we have no doubt are still being involved in the commission of crime, it's going to have a significant impact on what is happening in Jamaica.
DCP Bailey is asking the individuals to turn themselves in to the nearest police station.
We have made a lot of effort in trying to locate these individuals, and we still have not been able to arrest them. I want to say that my calling you today is to give these individuals the opportunity to surrender. These individuals are considered to be very dangerous. They carry arms, and they will shoot and they will kill.
Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitz. And DCP Bailey says the police will be intensifying efforts to apprehend the individuals linked to the upsurge in crime.
We are not going to leave them just like that. We have some initiatives coming, but I'm not going to get into all of those details. We are not going to leave any stone unturned until we find you. But we're not going to go into those activities. I ask of you to turn yourself in. The members of the public, again, I want to reiterate the fact that harboring a fugitive is an offense. And if you are found with someone who is wanted on your premises and it is revealed that you're aware, we are going to ensure that the letter of the law is complied with.
Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitz. Meanwhile, DCP Bailey believes amendments to the Firearms Act to provide for stiffer penalties would put a dent in the number of gun-related crimes in Jamaica.
We would want to ensure that the penalty fits the crime. And one of the issues that we are confronted with is the frequent use of gun. If I were to give my own position, and I've said it many, many times, that persons who possess an illegal firearm should be sent to prison for life. That's my position.
He also wants the forfeiture of properties used to store illegal firearms.
That if it can be established that the owner of a property is aware and support a person keeping an illegal firearm on their property, I think there needs to be consideration for forfeiture as that property as well. This is my view.
Deputy Commissioner in charge of crime, Fitz. It has been revealed that one of the 33 defendants on trial in the One Don case was a member of the Jamaica Defense Force, JDF, up to August last year. A JDF witness confirmed during his testimony in the Home Circuit Court today that the accused, Jermaine Robinson, entered the Army in August 2015 and served until August 2022 and 2021. Prince Moore picks up that story.
The Home Circuit Court heard that the soldier was attached to the JDF's engineering regiment. Earlier in the trial, two former gangsters turned state witnesses told the court that the soldier was a member of the criminal network. The court was told that during his spare time, Mr. Robinson was a bodyguard for the alleged leader of the Wandon gang, Andre Blackman Bryan. The soldier was allegedly armed with an AK-47 while he guarded Mr. Bryan. The court had also heard that in 2018, Mr. Robinson, who was clad in his uniform at a checkpoint in Spanish Town, instructed his colleagues to allow one of the state witnesses through the checkpoint and requested Mr. Bryan's phone number. According to the witness, Mr. Robinson inquired about Mr. Bryan's whereabouts and expressed his willingness to participate in the gang. Prince Moore, Radio Jamaica News.
Now, there are currently 118 active cases of COVID-19 among workers and inmates at Jamaica's correctional facilities. The latest figure was disclosed today by Minister of State in the National Security Ministry, Xavier Main, as he handed over 500 self-test kits to the Department of Correctional Services. Mr. Main says the infected persons have been isolated.
Currently, I have been advised that there are 94 active cases within the DCS, and we would have had a total of about 400, just under 500, 498 recoveries within the inmate population. Within the where staffing is concerned, I'm told that currently there are about 24 active cases and about 421 recoveries. And once a case becomes active, the usual isolation procedures are enacted, and the other control and prevention measures are enforced.
Minister of State in the National Security Ministry, Xavier Main. Recently, human rights advocacy group Stand Up for Jamaica renewed the call for the release of certain categories of inmates in light of the outbreak of COVID-19 at correctional facilities. And there has been a slight increase in Jamaica's COVID-19 positivity rate. It now stands at 36.5%, up from 35.7% on Tuesday. The Minister of Health is reporting that 500 COVID-19 cases were confirmed from 2,262 samples yesterday, and 2 more persons have died from the virus, increasing the death toll to 2,617. The latest cases comprise a 90-year-old man from St. Elizabeth and a 72-year-old St. Catherine man. Former deaths are being investigated. People's National Party Member of Parliament for St. Catherine South, Fitz Jackson, has criticized the comments from Prime Minister Andrew Holness and Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark, cautioning the banking sector against increasing service fees amid public outcry over the decision. Mr. Jackson says their concern is not genuine as they have failed to act. He is urging the government to vote in favor of his bill to amend the Banking Services Act, which would address the issue of high service fees charged by commercial banks. The bill to amend the Banking Services Act was retabled in Parliament in October after it was rejected in 2018. Mr. Jackson outlined what he wants to happen when the House meets on Tuesday.
What should happen and what ought to happen is that the bipartisan developed bill before the House, respecting the strenuous work of both sides of the divide, just put the bill to the vote when we meet on Tuesday next. Pass the bill and sign it into law at the soonest possible time, and much of what we're talking about that is unreasonable would have been resolved by law. The Prime Minister don't have to appeal to the banks. The Minister of Finance don't have to appeal to the banks. The people of this country elected all of us to protect them, not to go beg the banks to be sympathetic.
People's National Party Member of Parliament for St. Catherine, South Fitz Jackson, the island's commercial banks have recently announced an increase in various fees. In the meantime, financial analyst Dennis Chung says the issue of banking fees will continue to be controversial and has recommended making the industry more competitive as a long-term solution. Mr. Chung has come to the defense of financial institutions, arguing that they have also been impacted by inflation. He says the government should not seek to impose rules.
If you're going to be faced with this issue all the while, then the thing to do to let the market handle it is to make the barrier to entry lower, so that you have a more competitive space. So if you look at the U.S., for example, that's what happens in the U.S. The U.S. has a highly competitive market. Of course, there are certain things that you have to regulate because the whole thing about AML, poker, and all of those things. And even with the chicken industry, you have to have some form of protection, but you can make the entry easier.
Financial analyst Dennis Chung speaking today on the morning agenda on Power 106. A meeting is to be held tomorrow to discuss concerns raised by residents of Grantspen and St. Thomas about work on a section of the Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project. It will involve the National Works Agency and representatives of Grantspen. The residents have been protesting over the past 2 days, resulting in work being halted on a section of the project. They are concerned about the diversion of traffic from Grantspen. The U.S. Coast Guard has intercepted 191 Haitians aboard an overloaded sail freighter about 40 miles southwest of Great Inagua in the Bahamas. The boat was spotted during a routine patrol about 1 a.m. on Tuesday. The Coast Guard said the crew provided life jackets and brought the people aboard 2 of its vessels. A Coast Guard spokesman says teams will continue to patrol the waters around Haiti, the Dominican Republic, Cuba, Puerto Rico, and the Bahamas to help prevent loss of life on the high seas. Since October last year, Coast Guard crews have rescued 802 Haitians in their attempt to reach the shores of the United States. U.S. President Joe Biden has affirmed that he will appoint a black woman to the top U.S. court for the first time in history. She will take up a seat to be vacated by liberal Justice Stephen Breyer, who will retire in June. Appearing with Mr. Breyer today, Mr. Biden said he will announce his nominee by the end of February.
I've made no decision except one. The person I will nominate will be someone with extraordinary qualifications, character, experience, and integrity. And that person will be the first black woman ever nominated to the United States Supreme Court.
U.S. President Joe Biden, 3 judges are considered top contenders. There are 51-year-old Ketanji Brown Jackson, who is widely believed to be the top contender. 45-year-old Leandra Kruger, who is in her 8th year on the California Supreme Court, and 55-year-old Juliana Michelle Childs, who has served on the federal bench in South Carolina since 2010.